All right, let's talk about the Porky Pig short, or the Warner Brothers short, You Ought to Be in Pictures. I look at this as more of a Porky Pig thing, but it is influential in terms of what happened with Daffy Duck. It's also a major influence on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Because the day the Earth blew up is coming out. I wanted to do what was the first Daffy and Porky short, or what's a really good one. And like the first couple was like stuff like Porky is duck hunting, and supposedly one of those is Daffy or something. It just felt off, and I kept looking around, and I watched a lot of cool Porky Pig shorts from the late 30s, which is honestly really nice. But then I found this, and I didn't know about this before. It was actually really interesting. This is a live action animation hybrid done during the classic Looney Tunes kind of Warner Brothers period. And it is also kind of the first beginning of Daffy Duck as kind of like the scheming kind of like the Daffy Duck we know today kind of guy. The Daffy Duck that goes up to the movie that just got released starts with this movie, and particularly Friz Freleng, who this is the first Daffy Duck kind of thing he had ever done. And then him and Chuck Jones would take it over after that. But that is not the most interesting thing about this. This has a lot of interesting things about it, and I find it to be really good. I watched it a couple times today. I watched it with my kids. I really like this short, actually. I was surprised by it. I really never had heard of this before or seen it before. I was very surprised. It's kind of cool to find a discovery like this, to be totally honest with you. Like I was like, this is awesome. I discovered this thing just for me. I didn't, again, my ego isn't big enough to believe I'm discovering this short, but I'm glad to tell people about it. Maybe you all knew about it. I don't know. So You Ought to Be in Pictures starts off, we see them outside of basically, I don't know if it specifically is Termite Terrace, but basically a place they make Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. We see a guy drawing, I'm not sure who it is, there are a lot of animator cameos in this. We see a guy drawing Porky Pig, and we see that Daffy Duck is up there framed for some reason. And then they see that it is lunchtime. The guy leaves, all the animators leave, and Daffy starts convincing Porky he should leave his animation contract and be Betty Davis's guy and make $3,000 a week, which honestly still sounds like good money. I would totally do that. Betty Davis needs a love interest in a movie, but he basically convinces Porky to leave. Porky goes to Leon Schlesinger, who is actually Leon Schlesinger. Have you ever seen that name before? A Looney Tunes short. You see him in this. He's the only one who is not voiced by Mel Blanc in this, which is a really funny gag to have. But he sort of agrees. He's not the greatest actor, but he does. It's fun just seeing him there and stuff. He agrees to rip off his contract and let Porky go into the live action realm. And then Porky decides to go to a lot of a studio, doesn't say what, and the guy won't let him in. While Daffy the whole time is trying to convince Leon Schlesinger to basically give him all of Porky's roles. It's a really fun short. And one thing they do, and this is a Looney Tunes, is everyone who is not Leon Schlesinger is voiced by Mel Blanc. Like even the live action people, which is an amazing gag. I'm sorry. The fact that Roger Rabbit and no one else did that, like I was like, I love this idea that like Anomalisa didn't even have that. Well, he was dead by then, but it was just like, I really love, like, you have cameos throughout it of people like Chuck Jones, Bob Clampett, other animators like Henry Binder, Jerry Sinqui, I guess, Michael Maltese, and they're all dubbed by Mel Blanc. Like everybody. I was like, this is hilarious. I was like, it's the first one I figured out what they were doing. I was like, I love that, like, you're not gonna remove Mel Blanc. Like, the only one who can speak is Leon Schlesinger. I love it. Honestly, he should. If I was him, I would have been voiced by Mel Blanc too. And it is funny because the security guard won't let him in. It's very obviously dubbed, but it's such a fun little thing. Porky does try to do things. He dresses up as Oliver Hardy to gain access at one point to the studio. He breaks up a film shoot, which apparently is footage from a real film shoot, but it was like a film shoot from the early 34 with the film Wonder Bar. And you can see Leon, Bubsley Berkeley, and Lloyd Bacon briefly around the camera boom, I guess. But the main thing and the main influence I saw that was on Roger Rabbit was Porky is driving this car and it looks remarkably like the car from Roger Rabbit. Even the way it moves, the way it's thrown and stuff like that. I 100% think that's a reference. And even Jerry Beck, an animation historian and all around, probably the greatest animation historian living presently, said it's predating Who Framed Roger Rabbit by several decades. In fact, it's credited with inspiring the 1988 film You Ought to Be in Pictures, one of the most memorable of the black and white era Porky Pig cartoons. It's also one of the funniest. I agree, Mr. Jerry Beck. And it is actually fairly long for a Looney Tunes short. It's about 9 minutes. I usually don't go that long. This is like 9:30 actually, I think. This is actually Fritz Freeling's first Daffy Duck cartoon, and it's a milestone, and it really changed the character's development after this and introduced him as vain and devious and a rival of the lead character and stuff like that. And then Chuck Jones would take what Fritz Freeling did, who is always, I don't know why he's credited as I Freeling a lot. I'm sure someone can correct me on why, but to me he's Fritz Freeling. But it is a really fun behind the scenes classic Hollywood short. At first I was like, oh, maybe this will be too like gimmicky and I'll have a ton of cameos, but it's like a lot of fun. The whole Mel Blanc gimmick is really fun. Yeah, having a ton of animation cameos and stuff like that, but also or animator cameos. Also, it's like fun seeing Porky, and there's a driving scene that's like they put Porky in the right part of the frame and stuff like that. He's driving through traffic and it looked actually fairly organic. For that. It looks like they spent some time to getting this match very well. And there's certain things like Leon Schlesinger's eye line never matches up with Porky and stuff. But like other than that, it's pretty amazing. Like they were able to do the Richard Williams shit way before I think Richard Williams was animating. I don't know when he started animating, but let's just say I'm right. This is a really fun short. It really does show. It's the beginning of Daffy Duck. You get a live action hybrid. You get Porky Pig being hilarious. You get, all these amazing firsts in here, and it is really fucking good. I'm disappointed we don't talk about this one more. I think we should. Maybe I've just missed it all this time, which is a possibility. But I was really happy to do this. I do want to do more classic, like animated short reviews, but this is one that really surprised me. It has a lot of charm to it. It's a lot of fun to it. It has a lot of good gags. And I love the Mel Blanc thing. I think that was really ingenious. They had a lot of fun with the material, but this is what I like about them, about like Fritz Freeling and all the Looney Tunes animators and people who are writing for it, is like they're all extremely creative people who like to mess with things and like experiment and stuff like that. And you can't get that without having that amazing creative dream team involved. So if you've never seen You Ought to Be in Pictures, I highly recommend it. Apparently they tried to colorize it, but I'll never see that because that sounds terrible. But this it's a really fun black and white behind the scenes Hollywood thing. I would put it up there with some of the best behind the scenes Hollywood stuff I've seen of that era. But it's really great. It's a lot of fun. It's wonderful seeing a behind the scenes thing like that. I really it's a good 9 minutes of your life that you'll get with Porky and Daffy Duck, and you get to see Chuck Jones, all that. This was a fun discovery. One of the things I like doing about this is talking about various different shorts and animation things, and I'm really happy I was able to do that with this and discover a new Looney Tunes, a great Looney Tunes short I'd never heard of before. And I think we should talk about this more, and someone should watch this before Roger Rabbit. That someone is probably going to be me sort of soon. This is a wonderful short, and they're right. Porky Pig should be in pictures, and those pictures should be on the big screen, where Porky Pig and Daffy Duck are really good at eating up the screen, as they always are.